Hey folks, my name is Pravus. Welcome to more Ashes of the Singularity 2, probably my most anticipated upcoming real-time strategy game. We've seen a pre-alpha version of this game on the channel once before, and if you didn't watch that video, I highly recommend you check it out so I can explain all of the features of the game. But the good news is, now you can try the game out for yourself. During the Steam Next Fest, there is a demo that is publicly available, and you'll have a chance to see the glory of large-scale combat. And even better, there is now a second faction that we can play with, the Post-Human Coalition. All of that in today's video. I do want to say a big thank you to Stardock Entertainment for sponsoring today's video. I am excited for this game. I have been ever since I tried it in their headquarters. If you'd like to learn more or try out the demo for yourself, I'll include a link in the description down below, and I would encourage you to click on that. So let's go ahead and start up a new skirmish, and I'll show you how this is going to work. Now, there are a couple of different maps available for us that are intended for some multiplayer play, so I'm kind of hoping that during the demo, a lot of people are going to start taking each other on. That could be pretty great. We're going to be playing on Crossroads just because I think playing on something other than snow would be a nice change of pace. Though this is a pretty large map, so I expect things to get very hectic. And of course, for faction, I want to play around with the post-humans. You can think of this as like what would happen if humanity got ruled by a bunch of crazy tech billionaires who just went crazy on insane technology. I'm talking hover tanks, walkers, lasers, all sorts of crazy stuff. But I will play against the United Earth, just for the heck of it. And realistically, what I think would actually be really fun in this game is if you do have some competitive free-for-all multiplayer. Do we want to try that? All right, tell you what, I'm going to add in a couple of extra AIs, but everyone's on separate teams. So let's see what happens with this. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of attack of opportunities and backstabbing. Now, it's difficult for me, of course, to be actually recording a real-time strategy game while I do all this, so bear with me a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and start placing down some Durantium mines nice and early. I want to make sure that we get some economy going. We start off with this walking commander unit, which is pretty fun. So he's going to just go around and try to clear some early stuff out for me while I get my economy up and running. I also want to place down a factory very early on. Why did he stop moving? That's a little weird. Place down a factory early on just so I can start building up some small forces. The faster I can expand and get myself in a good entrenched position, the better, for sure. Yep, already found ourselves some enemies here. We're just going to go ahead and start laying them down with our plasma cannons. Ooh, and it turns out our HQ actually can fire at enemies as well. Well, that's gonna make things a little easier. Though the start of the game, let's be honest, Durantium is all I really care about. Reminder, there are 4 resources in the game. You have Durantium for most constructions, Elrite for the more advanced ones, Quanta to do some research, and of course you do have some logistics to worry about as well. Let's start recruiting a new army. Now we have different units, of course, unlike the Earth command that we had before. So I'm going to build up some cheap brute frontline units. We also do have a fast radar-equipped scout unit. Could be kind of useful. I'd rather just go ahead and focus on getting myself some brutes. And tech is already available. What do we want here? We could go for some archer fire support for long-range missiles. Could be kind of useful. Also, we could place down some skirmishers over here, try working toward getting some more speed and a bit more income from all of our different extractors. Could be good. Or we could have an orbital drop of an overcharged refinery so we can just kind of boost up a lot of different resource operations, which could be good in the early game. Not a bad idea. This also would lead to Durantium. I'm going to go for some early exploitation. I think that's fine. And let's drop down the overcharged refinery over here. It's only temporary, but hopefully this is going to boost up my income by a pretty wide margin. Now, there have been some interesting changes in the game. It used to be that your defensive buildings took up some of the building slots that you had in each of your regions. That appears to no longer be the case, so as long as you can afford to spend the resources, you can place down a lot of turrets and become very, very, very difficult to pierce through. Not sure if that is the best strategy or not, but it is certainly going to be an option, and I will be making use of this. The real balance of the game is going to come down to, like, how aggressively do you want to be expanding, right? Do you want to be just spending all of your resources on mobile units, try to conquer massive amounts of land, but then it's very difficult to take? Or do you just kind of go systematically, methodically, taking up one region at a time, placing down a bunch of turrets, and then just gradually push? Honestly, I can see an argument for both, and I've tried both in this game so far, and both can work. It really just comes down to, what are your opponents going to do? I'm going to go ahead and capture this area in the corner back in this direction. I do want to start getting some Elrite production. Also in the corner isn't a bad spot to place down some things like, let's say, more logistics resources, or eventually some Quanto resources with the relays over here. That could be pretty useful for us, just to make sure we start generating a bit more science. We also now have access to the Apollo unit, an anti-air ground unit. Not especially strong, but if we're playing against the United Earth, groups, they're undoubtedly going to have some air units. We'll need these. For now, just brutes are fine. I'm going to go ahead and actually build up another task force of brutes, just so I can expand aggressively here. Might even be worth placing down an extra factory and an extra armory or so close to the front line, just so I'm able to produce these units a little bit faster. We're going to have some losses. We're going to want to be able to reinforce quickly. Ooh, double Ellerite mines over here. That's going to be valuable for sure. Finding a few enemy tanks over here, dealing with that nicely, still pushing. I imagine the AI is moving even faster than I am right now, but I think that over the long run, we'll be okay. Oh my gosh, this was a triple Ellerite mine? Oh my god, that's amazing. Let's just go ahead and find out what people are doing. In the corner, I'm just going to use this... I can't. I have to use it in my own vision. Darn, I was going to say we should use this orbital ability here for a pan scout. Only can use it, though, apparently, where I actually can have some vision. Still, let's just sort of scout around here a little bit, see what's going on, what kind of forces I'm up against. Maybe we can go take some more territory. More units available for us, by the way. We have the Artemis, artillery units, very strong, and Nemesis, good anti-tank units. We're going to want all of these, to be honest, but I don't have any Ellerite to go with right now, so I can't prioritize that yet. We're getting some really good scouting in right now, though, which is great. Quantum relays are now available. Okay, it's going to cost me my Ellerite and stuff, but I do want to have these just for the extra science. Early technology can certainly be very helpful. Let's boost up that Durantium mining just so I have stronger economy. Would love to go for the archer units. I really, really would. But I feel like going for early economy in the long run ends up being the greedy but very effective play. Okay, I think I'm seeing some other color over here. Is blue team already way out over here? That seems remarkably fast and aggressive. I'm not happy about that. Makes me a little nervous. Makes me think that I need to find a way to entrench here pretty quick. My hope is that if one player starts getting too big, the other players are going to pop in here and start causing problems for them. We're going to see if that actually works out that way, though. Like, I'm looking at some of these resources and thinking I'd love to take this ground right here with the mountains on both sides to split up enemies, grab the Ellerite, grab the Durantium, and then just basically hold my ground until I've built up a large enough army and a large enough economy that I feel like I can win anything being thrown at me. Find whichever player is actively being ganged up on, and then just destroy them. Alright, enemy air forces are now popping in here. We should go ahead and start placing down some constable turrets in a few spots, just so I have some anti-air, and I can deal with any little excursions like that. Oh, definitely found another player over here, by the way. Blue was in this area. Alright, we'll go ahead and deal with them. Whoa, and now purple's coming through here. They just took a region right out from underneath me. Alright, unexpected. Let's go ahead and start placing down some turrets then. I want to make sure that we're not going to lose this stuff. So the Carver turrets are my basic anti-tank. I'll place down a handful of those. We'll try to go retake this. Since I don't have any turrets defending, they're kind of making some immediate plays. They're going to cost me a bit here. And I'm very unhappy about that, but they're also just going to get crushed here in a minute, I think. Yeah, this is actually a really smart play by the other enemy AI here. They actually just ran through and just took a bunch of zones from me and shut down a lot of my mining operations. It's not going to hurt me in the long run, but it is going to be very annoying. I mean, I say it's not going to hurt me in the long run. It probably is going to hurt me in the long run because it just killed a lot of my economy, you know? Still, this is why we're making plays over in this direction. Let's get these mines up and running and then start really turtling down, I think. Yep, see, these guys are now coming in here trying to grab the mines that I just snagged. We should easily be able to deal with that with what I've got so far, but that's going to get annoying quick if we can't defend it. And more Durantium, for God's sake. More Durantium. We can go down to expansion over here. I'll pick that up. Plus, we'll go for probably the Durantium and Ellerite income, like so. So that should help a little. Still don't have those archer units, which is what I really would like, but I mean, okay. Could even consider trying to harass blue just a little bit, find out what is going on over here. I want to see what they're up to. There's only one other post-human faction, and I want to be the only one here. I think it's rude that they exist. Oh, and they're sending an aircraft. Yeah, something I'm not especially strong against. We've got a handful of Apollos, we'll be okay, but I'd like to have more. And purple's now coming in as well. Okay. This was predictable, but again, we have some turrets, so hopefully I can make this hurt. Let's also consider recruiting some more units. I want to have a handful of Artemis if we have the Ellerite for it, because that long-range artillery should make it a little bit easier for me to entrench into a very good position here. In fact, we could also place down some Smarty systems here. These are some artillery turrets as well. Not the best, like, you know, system as far as, like, long range, but it'll work. Some sensor arrays wouldn't be a bad idea either, just so I have a bit more intel on what's coming before it hits. So we've taken kind of a nice corner of the map here. Just a nice little corner. Is it enough? No. But is it getting somewhere? Yes. I've got decent amount of Ellerite coming in. I've got a decent amount of Quanta. I'm going to go ahead and pick up those archers now just so I can get some more long-range units, and let's build a bunch of them. They only cost Durantium, so as far as I'm concerned, that's relatively cheap. It matters a lot right now, but eventually I find that the Ellerite ends up being what kills you more than anything else. And let's see if we can go ahead and knock out a bunch of these mines for blue. I'm going to start trying to deny them some of their resource generation. Well, I say that. Look at them go for that air support there. That is quite a lot. Let's go ahead and use some supporting fire in this area. We'll just go ahead and try to hit a bunch of them, knock them out while I can. I'm going to build up a deep strike squad right here and just see if we can't just, like, distract them, run deep into their territory, and cause some serious problems. They're sending everything they've got after me. So blue is going to be my primary enemy, it seems, and that is unfortunate. I would have rather not deal with them, but okay. I mean, I've got plenty of factories here on the front line, so I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we're going to be able to refresh ourselves and have the defender's advantage. That's kind of my entire plan here. Capturing some of Blue's territory, that's going to make them cry, I think. Also denying them a lot of these mines. I want to make sure they don't have any of that Ellerite. That's so much stuff. Like, why would I let them keep this? No, thank you. This mountain right here is actually going to be a major problem, and actually a really good defensive spot now that I think about it. If I take the high ground up here, I could set up a bunch of turrets and rain down death. It might actually be really good. The real question is, what are the players doing to each other? Like, I know I don't have a full quarter of the map, and this looks like this teal color's already pushed all the way up over here. So is purple getting, like, really obliterated right now? Are you guys, like, all skirmishing in the very center? If I go around the outside, can I kind of pick which player I want to kill? I don't know. Yeah, I see a lot of combat happening down over here. So definitely the players are clashing with each other. And if they're fighting each other and wasting units, then maybe I do have enough time to kind of build myself up. Such is the idea anyway. Let's go ahead and start putting together some sort of air force. I want to have some anti-air Furies and a bunch of ground support Talos aircraft here. And hopefully that's going to be a really good round of tank killers. Capturing this top region, I really think this is going to be a king of the hill kind of moment here. If we can take this, I think that's going to be a very big advantage. Let's start making a push on blue, since it looks like they're currently distracted. I don't want to get overextended. Well, I say that. Hang on. Teal is making a push against me right now, and I don't have anything but turrets, so I should probably go defend that. I'm wary of getting overextended. That is my big fear right now. But if I can get this center ground and place down a bunch of really good artillery in some good spots, I don't think there's much they can do to fight me. So we'll get lots of anti-air just to make sure they can't bomb me, and that's going to have to be good enough. They keep trying to run through here. They really want that center zone, man. They want it. They're not going to get it, but they want it. More tech points. We can go for more HP for my brutes. We can unlock the Zeus, which is a special assault unit, or I can just boost up the damage of like everything I've got currently, which doesn't seem bad. There's also the refinery increasing extraction in a target region. Seems kind of good, especially since there are some zones like this one over here that has so much Ellerite. Like, yeah, I feel like we want to be able to just mine like absolute crazy over there. This should boost up my income by so stinking much, right? I feel like that's the whole point.
Player defeated.
Player defeated? What do you mean a player was just defeated? Who died? Well, it wasn't blue. There's still stuff going on from teal and purple. Wait, did purple die? Is this stuff just not updated? Let's run in here and find out. I think another player just got freaking murdered, dude. How on earth is someone already dead? I didn't do that. Oh god, the AI is starting to scare me just a little bit now. Blue is getting obliterated. Maybe blue's the one that died. It seems like this might be the only territory left, in which case teal is about to come and swing in on me. Uh-oh. I'm going to spend everything I've got getting as many turrets as possible. New units available. What do we want? What do we want? We could go for the Acolyte. Commander units, we've already seen those. Reduced cost and build time for factories and armories could be useful. More logistics could be nice. More quanta for science, honestly, maybe, but I think what I need right now is just more damage. Let's make sure my units are being as competitive as possible. Blow these guys out of the water, man. Blow them up. Teal is moving around down here, but they're not doing a lot. Where are they going to try to hit me next? They're going to try to hit me over here? Not sure. Maybe. I think that this middle ground is paying off beautifully. Like, the artillery has made this a very dangerous trench for them to approach. And they've got bombers, but, like, we're dealing with them. And yeah, I definitely think it's blue that's dead. This whole area seems to have completely fallen to them. I think they pushed hard against blue and then just held off purple. And now with all this territory under their control, they've got one heck of an economy that is causing some issues for me. That's what I think is happening. Let's unlock the Zeus. These guys are pretty fun. Whoop, we lost this territory somehow. Hold on, come back. So these guys are pretty cool. They're flying units that shoot lightning, and they only cost Durantium, which is pretty great. Taking a lot more territory over here. Another good spot for a quick refinery. Get the Durantium online. Get the Ellerite online. The only way I'm going to have a chance at winning this right now is basically just to outscale the economy. Trust that this guy has been overextending and that we're going to be able to outproduce him eventually. It may take some time, though. This is where getting more of a scientific advantage might be great, so I'll build some more of these quantum relays and try to build that up a little bit. The Air Force is very mobile and doing some pretty good work at taking some of these guys down. They're trying to destroy some turrets. That is annoying, but they're just going to keep throwing units at me, and I'm not really losing much right now, which is a good position to be in. Can I take this mountain up over here? Honestly, this wouldn't be a bad spot for me to take as well. Another really good defensive point. The terrain is actually very, very useful here. Yeah, Teal is just going to keep trying to push me in this particular spot, so I just need to keep placing down more turrets. Make this as painful for him as possible. Some artillery up over here. Up over here would be pretty great, and plenty of anti-air so he can't, like, move around. We're just creating giant death corridors. That's what I'm doing right now. Death corridors where it's very difficult for him to shoot up at me, but I can shoot anything I want down at him. Let's also make sure we keep building more factories toward the front line. If at any point I fail to have enough factories, then we are going to struggle to reinforce fast enough, and he'll have a good defender's advantage. I can't allow that. I really think that Purple and Teal have decided that each other are the weaker force, so they're throwing themselves at each other, which is keeping them weak and buying me time. This is kind of what I was hoping for a free-for-all game. Now imagine I had a bunch of human players and I'm trying to negotiate with a few of them. That could be pretty sweet. Let's boost up our damage again with the Ares protocol. So we're now going to start really ramping up that DPS. Solid. I've got a lot of resources, so we should continue trying to build up a few more units. The Acolytes, Sovereigns, and Mavericks would be pretty cool, but they're also very expensive. I'd rather just keep building up what units I've got here. These are cheap, these are reliable, it's good enough for me. Can I fit another sensor array? Yeah, let's go ahead and place one right up over here. I want to see everything coming at me from this direction. I see a lot moving over here. Okay, so they're definitely making their move right now. And they have artillery, so they're bombing some of my mines down right now. Let's send the Air Force in. This is why it's here. It's intended to be a very mobile force. Got some more power. What do we want? The Acolytes? I don't know. What's going to lead to the big stuff? The Giant Commanders? The Sovereign units? I do like that idea. Or what else can we get? What else can we get? I'm looking for other really big units. So we could get some bombers, I suppose, and that wouldn't be a bad plan. I think I want to start working down this with the command posts, so we can start building those. Now, what do those do? What are the command posts for? Looks like long-range artillery command structures. Well, I mean, like, yeah, I'll go ahead and build a handful of those around in a few key spots, sure. They're expensive, but I've got the resources, so let's just do this and really entrench our position. I need to get around this mountain, because right now what they're doing is they have enough intel on me that they're able to just keep bombing me, and I'm not able to build any of my mines over in this direction. They just keep taking everything down. So I need to find a way around this mountain. I think I'm going to swoop around by the edge of the map and see if we can't encircle this and then entrench here as well. Then they have to pass around through this strait and this strait and this strait. And that means that they're going to be easy to just bottleneck and kill, right? Right. I can see Teal is actively pushing into Purple. So, like, this really is going to turn into a Teal versus Red fight here. They're in this corner. Like, I could probably kill Purple right now if I tried for it. Probably. Let's go ahead and unlock the Maverick. All right, this should be fun. Let's go ahead and recruit a handful of them. They're very expensive, but I do have all of the Ellerites, or a lot of it anyway. Long-range skirmishing unit, very good against tanks and buildings. Sounds like the sort of thing that I like. If I wanted to, I could also try to make a really bold breakthrough maneuver here, just punch through this area and encircle this whole thing. And remember, if at any point you do actually break off these regions from the main command center, they lose all power, which means they're going to be losing all of their turrets. So that is a very viable strategy. If at any point they look like they've overextended themselves, we could do that. Since we have enough money and we have enough logistics, I'm going to go ahead and create another task group. So let's go to our recruitment here. This one's going to be led mostly by some big Mavericks. I don't think we need the Nemesis since I already have what I want there. But I do want some Artemis. I do need a handful of Brutes for a front line, some Archers, some anti-air wouldn't be bad. I don't even know if I need the Zeus. Let's just go ahead and do this. It's a very expensive army, but if I can start constructing this sucker, we're going to use that as my breakthrough maneuver. All right? There's our first Maverick, by the way. So that is a couple of big walkers. I didn't expect it to be two of them, but sure, okay. Now, these guys are trying really hard to push around here, which is getting annoying. I give it at that, but I think we're okay if we just keep swooping around the mountain. Eventually, we're going to cut off all those reinforcements, right? Especially if I lay down a whole bunch of turrets like this so that nothing wants to come through here. And I've got enough mobile artillery and stuff. We are clearing out a lot of territory as we go. So this whole area is absolutely getting obliterated. Good, 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 good. How are we looking in this front? Pretty okay. I'm going to try to make my killing move against purple. I'd like them to be dead. Do we have Mavericks getting built up over here? Very slowly. The Mavericks are extremely slow to build. But these walkers look pretty cool, don't they? I like the giant plasma cannons of the post-humans. We're pretty cool. Another player just got defeated. I think that was purple. So I did not get to be the one to deal the killing blow. So teal has now killed 2 players, and now he's going to focus literally everything he's got on me. So I expect we're about to really feel the hurt right about now. That's okay, though. This is why we're building up this task force. He has built me a lot of time for me to just go ahead and encircle a bunch of his units, start cutting down some of his income, start cutting down his factories, but it's going to get hard from here on. More quantum relays to kind of boost up that science, though I have forgotten we have 2 more science points. Let's get the giant commander, the sovereigns, giant war titans. That should be fun. And then, I guess I will, let's see, logistics for subspace streamers. Let's go for the quanta income finally, just to kind of boost up that science. Maybe we can get some more points. It's very possible we're going to have a nice advantage if we just can stay ahead of them on science points and we get the big units and they don't. Generally speaking, that does tend to work, right? How is the third strike group coming along? It is still building all these Mavericks. Okay, we clearly need more forges because we're not building these fast enough. I also now can get an Omega arsenal, so we can get the really big spoopy stuff. I want that. The thing is, the AI seems to be really intent on building some of these small little Pathfinder units, and credit where they're due, they're fast, which is causing some problems for me, but they're not especially strong, so I'm not sure if this is the best play. Anyway, with both of these task forces, we're going to be pushing straight down in this direction. I want to encircle everything over here and just cut the power entirely. I think we can afford to do it, especially if I start getting myself a handful of sovereigns. Good God, those are expensive! 2,700 Ellerite each? Wow! I don't know if this is just like a giant rebalancing thing, or if just generally speaking, the post-humans are extremely resource-heavy. It seems like that is indeed a possibility. I don't know. They're going to keep trying to hit me over here. Can I get some more turrets on the high ground here? Maybe plus a couple of simple artillery turrets so I can just keep raining down some mortars on them. Yeah, I just don't want them just kind of punching through here. Like if I get flanked in this direction, I could see this crumbling very, very quickly. And I definitely don't want that. Huge amount of reinforcements coming in for me, though, right now. So as long as we can stay on top of building up our Mavericks and Sovereigns, we'll be fine. And with my extra round of science, let's get the Hades bombers unlocked. I think that's going to be useful for my Air Force. And I'm going to reduce the cost and build time of a bunch of my turrets. That way I can entrench a lot faster. Air Force, it is time to get yourself some bombers. Let's do that now. Really burning through my Ellerite, but we still have a pretty remarkable stockpile. So, like, we're actually holding our ground pretty great right now. Big honkin' walkers doing their job. Have I built any of my sovereigns yet? No. They are still, unsurprisingly, very, 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 very slow. Hello, looks like we found some big forces of their own over here. Okay, so they've got themselves a few big walkers, plus a lot of turrets and artillery. We knew that was going to happen. Let's just go ahead and make our push. Slowly pushing around here. There's a giant round of rocks in this area. This would be a very good defensive spot if I can take it. Let's try moving over here and see if we can't punch through this direction. And in the meantime, this group is just going to hold its ground while we entrench in the center of the map. I also want to have a sensor so I know what is on its way. All right, so if we can just really entrench right here in the center, he's going to throw everything he's got at me, and it's going to cost him a fortune. Let me just go ahead and place a couple of command posts over here so we have some really good artillery command, and anything that comes on this side of the mountain and this side of the mountain is going to get obliterated. That is my plan right now. I think we're winning. I do think we're winning. It's gotten a little bit touch and go at a couple of points here, but I think we're winning. That right there is my sovereign, by the way. Woo! Look at this big boy. Oh, he's gonna do some serious work. They're trying to hit me right over here in this area where I have my big honkin' tanks. That might be enough to be an issue. Let's send in the Air Force. I'd really like to not lose any of these walkers. They're so stinking expensive. That would be very, very painful. But I've got a lot of ground support coming in right now. These Talos guys should be able to just bomb the crud out of them. And these Hades bombers look pretty effective as well. So any infantry you send my way is just instantly going to die. Your tanks probably won't last a lot longer either. These turrets still take too long to build, though. I've held this ridge for a long time. If I could just have these freaking turrets placed down, everything they're sending after me right now, right over here, would not last very long at all. But the turrets, man, they do take forever. Absolutely forever. Still, we're holding our own. Holding our own. Everything's doing great. Got 3 tech points I'm not using. Let's go ahead and unlock the Acolyte. Let's get Quantum Transcendence, the ultimate economic mastery that allows the creation of resource amplifiers. Don't know what that does, but it sounds good. Let's also get God's Oven, an orbital laser, go pew pew pew. Sounds great. I'm gonna go ahead and try using that right here. Let's go ahead and see if we can destroy these turrets or something. That could be fun. I see their health going down, but I don't see the laser. I call that disappointing. I would have liked to see, I would love to have seen the rod from God coming from above. That would have been amazing. So how do we think we want to go for checkmate? I can continue holding this front, or I can amass my forces and try to just crush him. I know he's down here in the corner. If I just amass everything I've got in this corner and make one gorgeous push down, would that be enough to finish him? The answer is probably, but only if I have some really good entrenched defenses so that he can't take advantage of me being out of position. I'm gonna drop a Maverick right here, by the way, just to scare them, because they've been bombing down all my turrets over here. I don't know why they have vision, that's the thing. Why do they have vision on me, but I don't have vision on them? There's probably a really good reason, and I'm sure as soon as I publish this video, somebody over at Stardock is gonna be like, hey, just so you know, this is the thing. And fair enough. But I also like to complain sometimes, so maybe I don't really want to know the answer. Now we have access to the Hyperion, an aerial dreadnought with unmatched firepower, strong against everything. Ooh, I like this idea. Well, screw it. Let's go ahead and start making our push. All right, we're going to leave one task force over here just to keep distracting them. We'll kind of apply pressure in this direction so they don't want to reinforce over here. And I'm going to use my big forces, including my Air Force, to just go ahead and start throwing everything I've got, all the pressure right over in this area. I've also found a handful of their big, factories for their walkers. So, I'm not going to let them keep that. Whoa! Look at this God Slayer they've got. I didn't even know you guys had a new giant mech. Well, that looks terrifying. I don't like it. We need some supporting fire over here. They're really holding me back right now, a lot. And I'm going to send a deep strike squad just to kind of slow them down and see if we can't hit their turrets. I really, really, really want to knock down some of these artillery turrets. They are causing pain, man. Serious pain. You know what? I've got sovereigns and stuff of my own, so we're pretty good here. And I've got the skies. I don't think he actually has anywhere near enough air units to be a problem. Look at this. Are you shooting some sort of a giant acid shot? You've obliterated so many of my brutes. Holy crud, that's a great unit. I like the God Slayer. I want that myself. That said, I'm about to build a whole bunch of giant Hyperion dreadnoughts, so yeah. I think at the end of the day, a dreadnought in the sky beats the giant mech. At least I hope it does. Walker's making huge pushes down in this direction. We're mostly shutting down a lot of their factories, which is a big part of why this is working right now. So that's looking good. Hyperion, I think we have one built. I don't know where it is. I'd like to see it. Where's the Hyperion? Anywhere? Hyperion! There's one. I think it's right over here. Ooh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's crumbling. He's crumbling. I don't think he's got anywhere near enough resources to sustain himself at this point. It's all coming down, boyo. Let's get some more HP on those brutes so they stop dying so much. Clearing out forces up here in the north. Looking solid, no problem. The real annoyance here, honestly, is their artillery. Again, if they didn't have vision on me, this wouldn't be so bad, but the fact that they do is definitely proving to be a big problem for us. All right, we've got 5 more Hyperions on the way. I want to see what a Hyperion can do. You come over here, all right? I don't even care if this makes sense. I just want to see what happens when you shoot. How much damage can you do? I'm betting it's gonna be a lot, because it's a freaking Titan in the sky. Kind of whoa! All right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right. It's like a Zeus, and it's got plasma cannons and everything else. Oh! Post-humans are amazing. Yeah, this is it. This is GG for sure. There's no way you are dealing with 378 supply worth of units coming in. No way in heck. I don't even feel like I need to entrench or anything. I think we just go for checkmate right over here. 2, move up down this valley. 1, this valley. Giant walkers punch straight through the middle with the air support and the Hyperions to cover you. He's got a lot of artillery over here, I'm aware. We'll take some losses on the way, but I think it's fine. The Hyperion here should be able to do some serious work. It's got 12,000 HP. It does a ridiculous amount of damage. Yep. All right, you know what? Screw it. Even faster. Every single unit I've got, move over here, directly into this corner. Forget everything else. Nothing else matters. We're going for checkmate. This is the HQ. Destroy it. All right, I want to see big honkin' fireworks, which appears to be exactly what I am getting right now. Oh, yes, yes. You pitiful humans on Earth do not stand a chance against the glory of the post-humans. We are the new power of the universe, at least until the Substrate faction gets released. Then our hubris shall catch up to us. I know it, but it's fine. Come on, Hyperion, let's just go ahead and finish this off with a couple of lightning beams. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, Teal, you must have felt pretty good about yourself after you killed off like 2 other players. It means nothing to me now, though, and the game is over. All right, we lost 500 units. Ouch, but it's okay. We killed over 1,100 as well. Decent KD ratio, which is kind of what you're looking for here. You want to make sure that you're getting really good value. Captured 85 regions, though by the end, we only held on to 76, got 20 of the techs. That's most of them done. Lots of units ended up being built, and this is going to be our score. So that was a free-for-all. Again, imagine human players kind of going for it, all communicating with each other and deciding who they're going to take out next. I could see this being absolutely crazy once you start getting the 8-player large maps, you know? Reminds me of the good old StarCraft days, back when I played a lot more StarCraft 2. That was so stinking fun. This is kind of filling that niche for me, though again, it does kind of have the slower command and conquer style of gameplay, where really, you do want to be more methodical, you do care about your positioning. You want to make sure that your units are not caught out in a really bad position, because it takes a while to reinforce. So you got to think about what's the meta strategy about how I want to swing around with my units, and then where can I actually get the best counters and the best value for all my resources. The post-humans are fun, though. They got some really fun giant units. I like those. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to Star Rock Entertainment for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to try out the demo, be sure to click that link in the description down below, and I do encourage it. There's nothing quite like getting a hands-on experience to get a good feel for whether this game is going to be right for you or not. And again, there is a third faction that has yet to be shown, so I think there's a lot more in store for us. Otherwise, I would humbly ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.